And then the other player I wanted to talk about is this guy, Joshua Kimmich. Obviously, he is a Bayern Munich player. I would definitely consider him as a legend. I really would.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing. I'm not going to read that whole thing. I've already made a video on it. But basically what it's saying is that Bayern Munich are prepared to give him another contract, but they want him to take a pay cut, which is absolutely ridiculous when it comes to him in his prime. Why you would take a pay cut in your prime makes no sense whatsoever. I understand from a club perspective, they're trying to do it to lower wages and so on, but at the same time, it's dumb. But obviously, you being linked with him, you are one of the clubs. You are right by saying that. What do you think on Kimmich?
So I mean, I've been reading and knowing the Kimmich situation at Bayern ever since January, because we were actually linked with him in January, just that Bayern didn't want to let him go then. So I read a lot about his contract situation, which has been a roller coaster at Bayern München, with Thomas Tuchel coming in, getting sacked, which, I mean, Kimmich didn't have that great of a relationship with Tuchel, had much better one with Nagelsmann, and then he shockingly got sacked. You've obviously also switched sporting director from Oliver Kahn and Halilzic to Herbal, who you just got. So it's a lot of stuff that's happened to Bayern, but Kimmich, because he loves Bayern and is loyal, still wants to stay at Bayern. I still think that's his priority. But I remember back before in January when he and Bayern were having contract talks, he wanted a higher wage, especially when I think 5 players are ahead of him in the wage bill at Bayern, and he thinks to himself, that's impossible. It shouldn't be like that, especially as you said, he's in the prime of his career. This is when he's able to get the highest possible wage in his career. And you now saying they want to give him a pay cut, I don't know how Kimmich will take it, because at the end of the day, I don't even think maybe he will care that much about the money. It's more maybe he feels disrespected by the board for everything he's done for the club and all of that. But I still think he prioritizes staying at Bayern and extending.
Yeah, no, I can see that without a doubt. And I think the problem with it is obviously Thomas Muller, Manuel Neuer are both legends as well. And both of them are on the same contract with an extension, where obviously, they're looking to cut his wage, Kimmich's wages. So, yeah, I don't know how he's going to take it. The problem with it is it's not necessarily a problem, but a lot of players, Alphonso Davies being one of the main ones, obviously his agent has been flirting with everyone, mainly Real Madrid, but with everyone, where Kimmich doesn't have an agent, if I'm right by saying. I believe he is his own agent. So that's why it's taken so long, because he's probably on holiday after the Euros, so on and so forth. So, but yeah, where would you play him? Because I personally like him as a right back, as a Bayern fan. But what are you thinking as a PSG fan?
I mean, I think out of all PSG fans, I'm one of the people that are least interested in Kimmich, because I don't really think that's something we need. If we can finalize the Joao Neves and Desiree Doué signing, I'm looking at that midfield as a complete midfield. Kimmich would obviously come in and help with the experience, leadership. This is a guy that's won the Champions League, that's won the treble under Flick. But is it worth it? That's the question mark. As you said, you see him as a right back. His best time last season, at least, came as a right back, even though I still think he can play in the midfield. I'm just not that excited about the potential signing of Kimmich. And if he signed for the club, I could see him... I don't know. If he comes, he would have to be forced to start. Like, he can't go to PSG and not be a starter. So... yeah, the only thing I can say is, I would see him as a midfielder then, in a double pivot next to someone. Maybe if it... yeah, I don't like this transfer at all, man.
No, 100, bro. And that's the reason I wanted you on, because you're very opinionated, and that's the
like, what's your plan with Kimmich? Do you see him strictly as a right back? Can he still play in the midfield and play well enough for Bayern?
Yeah, I think he can play in the midfield, and a lot of the football Twitter, which you obviously never go off of, but a lot of them are saying, let's put him in next to Polinia. And I'm like, but then you're taking away from Pavlovic, who was a one of our brightest stars last season. Obviously, we had a terrible season, but in general, he was one of our better players. So why are you then going to go and ditch him? You know what I mean? Just to put Kimmich back in the midfield. Like when we won everything, when we won the sextuple, he was playing right back. We had Thiago and Goretzka in the midfield. I don't know where this whole obsession of playing at number 6 is. He can't do the number 6. He's a box-to-box midfielder. That's the way I see it. He's very creative. Obviously, he can do his defensive duties, but he's not an out 6 just because he has it on his back. And that's a show, but it doesn't mean that he's a 6. So, yeah, I want to keep him because obviously I feel like he's a legend, like I said. But at the same time, if he's going to try and force his way into the midfield, just give it to him.
100%.
So, yeah, big up to everybody that is in the chat, though. Thank you for the constant support on the channel.
Big up.